How's it going, Blue Dart Nation? This is Connor Smith and Shane Pickering from GoMiddle.com here at Floyd Stadium after MTSU's 22-20 loss against Missouri State. You know, MTSU was in this game pretty much the entire time. It seems like this is a consistent thing. We talk about that the Blue Raiders are always in the game, but can't seem to get it done. They were in field goal range to finish the game. Jacob Hathaway missed a 50-yard field goal. Certainly in his range. It would have been good from probably 50, 56, but he hooked it wide left. And Blue Raiders lose again. There's probably what 3-4 games in a row that we can say that they had in their hands and just slipped away from them.
Yeah, definitely 3 with Marshall and last week against Kennesaw, or a week and a half ago against Kennesaw State.
Yep.
This week against
Missouri State.
And like this game was different, it had a different feel. Marshall, you gave up the big second quarter. You gave them 21 points. Kennesaw State, you gave up the big first quarter with 21 points. This was a consistent back and forth game. So you can tell they're progressing.
Mm-hmm.
But as Derek Mason said in the press conference, being close to winning a game is not enough in year 2.
Still losing.
And they are 1-5 now, and that's inexcusable for how the games have unfolded and then just selling the game at the end. But on the bright side, you did see Alex Mitchell return, your leader of the defense, your middle linebacker. You could tell he was definitely a little limited. He only came in, I don't know, probably 10, 15 snaps.
I'll have to look at it, but
somewhere around there.
It wasn't a huge.
Yeah.
It wasn't a huge game from him, but like you could definitely see when he was on the field, he was communicating well.
He made his impact for sure.
Yes, especially at the very end when he suplexed the quarterback. That was awesome. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, he had fun tonight. But yeah, like he made his mark coming back. We saw him in warm-ups going through with no knee brace or anything. We like, is he going to play? Is this just to show? And he played. He started the game and he kind of rotated in for some big plays. On offense, Cameron Lacey, inside joke with the media. Cameron Lacey and Jaquel Middlebrook really had big games. You see Najee was kind of limited. A.J. Jones had some big plays, but it was more so move the chains on third down.
Yeah.
Cameron Lacey really opened this offense up.
Yeah, he had a big game last week against Kennesaw State. I believe 97 yards, no touchdowns, but 97 yards, 5 catches. Today, he had 2 touchdown receptions, 114 yards on, I believe, 7 catches. So back-to-back really big games. You know, I don't want to compare him to Omari Kelly because Omari Kelly is his own guy, but the way they use Cam Lacey is like that gadget guy, you know, throwing down the field. Yeah, very, very similar role. That's a guy you've got to get involved. He's a stud with him, Najee Cox, and even guys like Amorian Walker, A.J. Jones. You've got a lot of playmakers on this team. You look at Jaquel Middlebrook, too. He finished with right under 100 yards. I believe it was 17 carries for 90 or something like that.
Yeah, like 95, 96 yards.
Yeah. I don't want to be that guy, but it's a wonder what happens whenever you use one of your best receivers and your best player on your team in Jaquel Middlebrook.
There's a lot of speed on this team with Jaquel and Cameron and Najee, and they're finally beginning to use all of them at the same time, it feels like. Obviously, you know, Najee couldn't really get going, but honestly, that might have just been a byproduct of just Cameron going crazy.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I mean, everyone knows Najee's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was maybe just with Cameron breaking out, able to run the ball, and they stuck to the run was the big thing. Now, they maybe were a little too committed at the end with the 2 runs and then the dump off to Hunter Tipton, which forced them, like, I understand playing for the field goal, but playing when you're at a 50-yard field goal is a little bit different than trying to work towards, like, I don't know, a 35-yard field goal. And it ended up, if you want to call it, be straight about it, it ended up costing them the game.
Yeah, I mean, and I especially don't like the decision to play for the field goal when you had the ball right at the 2-minute warning. You had 2 timeouts to work with. You were at the 40, 50. Like, you were definitely in field goal range at that point, but it's like you could have moved further. You could have moved closer. Even score a touchdown. I would like to see them take a shot. And that's something that Coach Mason said after that in the presser that, you know, looking back on it, maybe they would have liked to take a shot. They didn't, so it is what it is. But, I mean, that last sequence, it cost them the game. But at the same time, I mean, one play doesn't lose you a game. They had their opportunities throughout the game. They didn't score whatsoever in the first quarter, and then, you know, got into it late, scored in, I believe, the third quarter, early fourth, whatever it was, to go ahead. Just like Marshall, you had the lead, and you allowed them to, you know, get back into it, take the lead, and you couldn't convert at the end. And that's something that continues to plague them. How do you fix that? I don't know. I really don't.
As Mason said, his solution to the problem, at least his recommended solution, which I believe is turning those field goals into touchdowns.
Yeah.
They cross midfield way too many times. They have way too many playmakers and a veteran quarterback to not score touchdowns. And even with Marcus Miller starting center out, Mateo Guevara moved over. He had an overall solid game, but that one bad snap at the first quarter, second quarter,
Second quarter.
it just kind of floated up, and
Yeah.
Nick really couldn't get a hand on the ball and like actually grasp it. Missouri State, recovers. They score a touchdown. Other than that, where they were in the short field, the defense really held their own and allowed for the team to stay in the game and for the opportunity of that 2-minute drill.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the stat sheet: 4 sacks, 9 TFLs for the Blue Raider defense. But in my opinion, the most important and most impressive stat of the game was Missouri State got into the red zone 5 times. Now you kind of have to take one away because, like Shane said, that's the fumble where Mateo, like, let's just call it what it is. It was a bad snap, a mistake, went over Nick's head, and they started in the red zone. So, but even with that, 5 red zone trips, 3 field goals. 3 field
One
goals.
missed field goal.
You had 3 made and 1 missed. So you had 3 red zone field goals and then 1 that was outside the red zone that they forced a field goal. The defense, they did a really good job at bending but not breaking. This is a game where, in my opinion, the defense, you would like to see some different things, not giving up the explosive plays, but it's a game where this defensive performance wins you most games this season.
No, I agree. I think with the explosive plays, you still have young DBs at the end of the day. They got picked on a little bit at times, but when they got into the red zone where the space is crunched, they made plays. Diari McDonald, Jackson Lowe, all those guys really just prevented them from crossing the goal line, and that was a huge factor in this game. Now they have to actually play a full offense, defense, special teams even, and put that all together to win a game. They are 1-5. They need to take that next step and win these ball games.
Yeah, I mean, the way you're looking at it right now, you've got to go 5-1 the rest of the year to make a bowl game.
Yeah.
And that's tough, especially with Delaware next week, Jack State in the future. It's gonna be really, really tough.
Jack State's going to be a very tough game.
Yeah, that Jack State game is going to prove whether you really like football or not.
Absolutely.
But going forward, I mean, the Blue Raiders have got to play a 60-minute ball game, or this season will end up being a waste for a lot of people. That they're back at next week on the road at Delaware for another weekday CUSA game. Thanks for watching.